Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Blacksmith character from Merchant's Cove. And we have our book here that explains how to play the character. And the Blacksmith is going to be making weapons and armor for the various heroes that are coming back on the boat. And we have a couple different things we can do for that. Up here we have our forges. It's easier to zoom in on this than the player board. That's our player board in the middle. And there's 4 of these forges up here, these main ones. And the left 2 here can be used to make large goods. You can see here, this side makes green or red, this side makes blue or yellow, and you have 2 of each. So the way to do these is you have this preset number here, which is your coal. And you have 2 spots for dice you're going to be docking. You need to make 10 or more in order to make a red or green, or 12 or more to make a blue or yellow, and those are the large items. Alternatively, you can use 8 or 9 to make a green or red large item, but you get corruption for it. Same goes with the blue or yellow. You need 10 or 11. You can make the blue or yellow item, but you're going to get corruption. These are exactly the same. Then these 2 on this end are for our smaller goods. And you can see here the coal in the furnace is actually up higher, but yet we need lower numbers. So you're trying to get 8 or less for a red or green, 6 or less for a blue or yellow. And again, we have the other numbers below that you can meet and still make the item, but you get corruption. So we have 4 spots underneath those. These are used to load dice into those furnaces. They only take 1 hour each to use. And down here we have the smelting furnace. Again, for another hour, you can dock any die in here and it unlocks one of these 4 dice when you take the forge action. And these cover up the 4 corresponding sponsorship tokens for the guilds. In the middle here, we have our forge action for 2 hours. This will activate all of your furnaces, so all 4 of your ones up here, plus your smelting furnace down here. Whichever ones you have dice docked in, you can check and see if you get the items from those. Down here where you start is your activate your staff icon, and then over here is your higher staff icon. And that's pretty much it for our board. On the back we have a nice cheat sheet which we'll reference in a little bit that talks about our staff board. So as the blacksmith, the first thing you're going to want to do is you take your 4 dice that you have, and these are the alloys that correspond to the different colored guilds. These are what you'll be using to make your items. You're going to roll those, and then these stay locked at whatever you roll. That is a really crappy roll, but we'll work with it. Then when your turn comes around, you're going to have to decide what to do. Your first turn, you're pretty much always going to want to start loading furnaces. Depending on who's on what boat, what's coming into dock, is what you're going to pick. So in our case, since we rolled exceptionally low numbers, we're probably going to be looking at the center dock. What boats are heading towards that? What boats do we want to head towards that? And possibly the black market, but more off we're going to be looking at those centers. So we're going to try to figure out what's coming in, and say we have a bunch of yellow guys that we can get to go to the middle dock. Well, we can make a yellow item pretty easy with what we've rolled. So we're going to go up here and we're going to load this furnace on the end. We start with 4 coal here. These always start at 1, 2, 3, 4. They can be adjusted through our staff board, but for now we have them as they are. We're going to go there. We're going to take our yellow die because that's what we want to make, and that goes up here. Then we look, we got 4 here, plus 2 is 6. We need 6 or less to make our yellow item, so we're good there. But we don't actually make the item yet. That's a 1 hour action, so we'll move our 1 hour and then wait for our turn to come back around. Our turn comes back around. We can look at the boats that are out there. We really want to make a blue small item, but if we look, we've got this here is a 4. The only other place we have to make small items is here, which is a 3. It's a 7, which will get us a corruption for it. We can choose if we want to do that or not. In this case, I think we will, because we'll be able to get rid of that later on, before the end of the game. It's still early. So we will set those up. So now we have our 3 and 4. That makes 7. It is not enough for our 6 or less, but we can do 7 or 8 down here and just take a corruption for it. So again, that's our turn. We spend our hour, and it would go around. Comes back to us again. The only thing left we have to make are large items. And with a pair of 2s, we're not going to make much. So I think our next option is going to be to go here and unlock one of these dice. Now, there's a combination here of what you can look at. You can look at what number of meeples are in the various guilds. Because at the end of each day, when it comes to the market phase, you're going to score points equal to whatever of these you have unlocked, times the number of guys in that guild. So if we were to unlock the yellow, we would get the nobles. So if there's 2 nobles in the noble guild, you would get a bonus 2 points at the end of each day, basically, as the game progresses. But on the same thing, you got to look at what's coming in. Red and green may be cheaper items, but they're also more common, so there's a more chance of them coming in. But as you choose, like say, we're going to say green because there seems to be a lot of green out there. Now, it doesn't matter what color die we dock in there. We have a red and green left, but we need to dock a die there. And then that would be our 1 hour turn to go around again. It would come back to us. Now, obviously, we're going to move to the forge because there's not much else we can do. We could hire a staff if we wanted to, but right now we want to forge something. So we're going to hit our forge icon, which is 2 hours, but it activates all of our forges. So there's nothing in this one, nothing in this one, so nothing happens. This is when we go here. We see we have a 7. That's good enough, so this goes off to the side. It gets spent. We're going to get our blue small good. And we put that up here on our sales shelf. And we get a corruption card. So we'll be drawing our corruption card, setting that aside. Now we look at this one. This one is again enough, so that's going to go off to the side. We're going to get our yellow item. That's going to go on our sales thing. And then we get to this. So we can undock our die here. And we get to pick which one of these we want. And I think we're going to go with green because say there's a lot of green that are coming in that probably aren't going to dock and are probably going to go to the hall. That's going to boost us. It'll also give us a chance now we have an extra die. So when you look at our dice pool now has 2 green dice in it, so we have twice as much of a chance of making a green item. So we're going to re-roll these, all of our unlocked dice. And then we got a much higher, so now we're much better set to do some large items in the next coming turn. We will spend our 2 hours, and that ends our turn. And this is how it's pretty much going to repeat. Now that we have some larger numbered dice, we can say, hey, we want a yellow large item, just in case we made that yellow small item, but what if that boat goes to the large dock? So we're going to go to our second furnace here. And with these big furnaces, you have to dock 2 dice. Whatever dice you put up here at the top is what item is going to be made. The one down here just adds to the coal and the total number. So if we want a... Well, I said yellow, but I don't think we can make yellow. We can, but it'll get us corruption. So if we go with the blue, we won't get corruption. So we're going to use that just for the example here. So we're going to take our blue die, dock that at the top. So that gives us the item that we're going to make is going to be blue. Now we have 4 here, 2 on the die, so that's 6. So we need 12 plus in order to make a blue item, or a large item here. So we can use one of our 6s. That'll immediately put us to 12, which is what we need. Alternatively, we could use the 4, which would give us 10, which is enough to make the 10 or 11 and get the corruption. So you kind of play with numbers like that to get what you need. You also got to look at what you have available here. We have 2 greens and a red. We might not need the green, so we might want the red for something else. So we'll use the green here and set that up. And again, you just keep playing. You keep moving your guy to the furnace you want to load, putting in the item you want to load, moving again, docking a die, and then forging. You have enough time to do this probably 2 times around, maybe some extra, to get what you want. Again, we're at the forge, so we're going to make, again, this one is just fuel, gets set aside. This is what we make, the blue, so we're getting a blue large item. Over here, we have a yellow small item. And then we get to unlock another die from down here. That adds to our pool. The pool gets re-rolled. And that ends the turn. Now when we get into hiring staff icons, you go here to hire staff, the time it takes based on which one of the staff that are available that you buy. And on the back of here, we can tell you what our items are across here. So the first one is the Billower, which allows you to adjust one or more of your coal dice up by a total of 3 pips, distributed however you wish. So you could raise one of these, so say this one's at a 1, I could raise that up 3 pips to a 4. Or you could raise this one by 1 to a 2, this one by 1 to a 3, wherever 3 is, and this one by 1 to a 4. Or actually, in this case, you would probably want to go down from the 3 to a 2. Ideally, you want these two numbers to go down because you need lower stuff over here, and these two to go up. That helps you accomplish that. The next one is the Metallurgist, and that allows you to completely load the empty spaces of one furnace with dice from your supply. So your supply are these dice here. You can completely load any one furnace, so we would do this here and be all set to make a large item out of it. Our next one is the Apprentice, and the Apprentice allows you to forge up to 2 loaded furnaces. So in this case, if we had 2 furnaces ready to go and we went to activate our staff and we had a staff member here, we could forge 2 of our furnaces. We're going here and doing it yourself, you can do 4. It's always better to do this stuff yourself, but when you get the staff, the way the staff works is 1 or 2 of them are not really worth the 2 hours to go here and do that. However, once you get 2 or 3 or 4 in here, and you can start triggering all of these abilities, then it makes that 2-hour time that you're putting into it much more worth it. So in this case, you could, once you had a full staff, and I forgot to mention the last one here, everybody has the same last one, which allows you to remove one of your corruption. So we could, if we had a guy there, we could get rid of our corruption card here. And you get to choose which one you get rid of. So in this case, we have one that's worth 2. We could get rid of that over one that was only 1 corruption symbol. So, but yeah, when you go there, so in this case, if you had a full staff, you could adjust your bellows by 3, so messing with the coal dice, and you could load one of your furnaces, and then forge 2 of your furnaces, and then get rid of the corruption card. So you get these nice combos going where once you have multiple staff, it really works out for you. But that's pretty much the basics on how the blacksmith works. You're going to be trying to judge whether you want small or large. A lot of it depends on what you roll. Like in this case, I have all low numbers here. Chances of me getting a large item are slim to none, so I'm going to concentrate on small items. So you look at the middle dock, you look at the black market dock. What boats have already docked? What boats are you trying to dock there? And plan around that, making sure that you make the right goods. It's pretty much the most straightforward and probably the easiest character to play and master in the game. And it still offers a little bit of strategy and a challenge for experienced players. Although it's a fun character, and I hope this helps you understand how it works and how the mechanics play. And if you have any questions, post them down in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.